Hello, everybody. My name is Candace Holmes-barnes. A lot of you may or may not know me from TikTok. I literally went viral over 20 days ago over the injustice in Columbia, Missouri. The story I'm about to tell you about why I'm talking so much about the injustice system is because we have been going through that same thing. Injustice, retaliation, hate crimes, cyberbullying, and all for the last 3 years with Columbia Police Department, Columbia Public School District, Juvenile Detention Center, JJC, the Boone County Courthouse, and as well as the Sheriff Department. Now, why I'm saying all this is because 3 years ago, on January 10th, 2018, 19, no, it was 18, they arrested my daughter, falsely arrested her for stomping on a girl's torso. Verbally, it was 5 teachers from Smithton Middle School who said it was her. Come to find out, in the written reports to the police department, they didn't invocate my daughter at all. She literally was arrested, taken down to the big jail, fingerprinted, taken down to the JJC, doused with lice spray. Now she has eczema skin. She got an infection because they make you use used undergarments, reuse them. They don't give you clean or new ones. So with that being said, it was very horrible experience for a child to go through, knowing that it was 5 teachers who lied. So when they lied, I got a video from like 50 different kids saying that it wasn't my daughter at all. So of course I went down to the police department the next day, and then I went to the school Smithton the next day, talked to Principal Jury. He said that he was going to do everything he could, which is recorded. He was going to do everything he could to get my daughter out, which he did that. They called 45 minutes later and dropped all the charges. But they still suspended her for 10 days. Even though in the video, it shows her going off on a Caucasian kid that is 300 pounds bigger than her. And she says, "Why did you push my best friend like that?" Well, he pushed her into the locker. And so she turned around and slapped him. Well, she was suspended, but he was not. So when I went up there and complained to the school about him not being suspended 3 days later, because I found out he was still at school, that's when they suspended him. But that's when he made a KKK group on Snapchat, and I have evidence of that too. So does the Sheriff Department. And made a Snapchat group saying that they were going to hang my daughter and my son from a tree. This is what we do to niggers with an antique gun on their lap. The black on black crime rate is so high in Columbia, Missouri, they'll never find your bodies. Literally, the Sheriff Department, even by making the police report, all he did was talk to the boys and release them. And my daughter tried to commit suicide. My daughter is now, because of this incident, never been diagnosed before, never been on learning disability, the 504K plan, none of that. Never been in trouble, never been incarcerated, never nothing. Never, no medication or nothing. Is now diagnosed with severe bipolar, severe anxiety, severe depression, severe PTSD, severe learning disability, severe trauma blockage. Okay? Severe anger issues, severe mood swings. So now I have to deal with a child that's never dealt with these problems before in life, and now I have to deal with her going through them now. Not only that, my son at West Junior was jumped by 3 boys and 5 teachers, white, Caucasian teachers stood there and watched the fight go on. When Miss Barnes, got a call from the school saying that, "I'm sorry, Miss Barnes, your son was just jumped by 3 boys and he has ran away and we cannot find him." What is a mother to think? So when I go up there, yes, I'm irate. Yes, I'm upset. But as soon as I walk into the building, I see my son. When I see my son explains to me, "Mom, it was 3 boys they allowed to jump me, and 5 teachers stood there." Not only that, it was premeditation because there was a fight on there saying that they were going to jump my son the day before. That's premeditation on Snapchat, social media, baby. You better know the facts. So with that being said, when I spoke up and said, "Who's the 5 teachers that stood there and watched them fight my son?" Melita Walker, the principal, stood up and said, "Miss Barnes, what you're going to do is shut the fuck up and stop talking." When I said, "No, what the fuck you're going to do is stop talking to me and shut the fuck up and tell me who the fuck these teachers is," the lady pronounced to leap up in the air and try to attack me. If it wasn't for my activist at the time, Glenn Cobbins Sr., pushing her back, she would have been able to hit me. But see, in her report, she lied to the school system and the police department, saying that I tried to attack her. I was irate, and I was arrested. So was my son. That's all false information, bruh. Not only that, my son has heart problems. If it's hit the wrong way, it can rupture and he will die. So with that being said, that motherfucking lady did not call 911 or the ambulance. If it wasn't for the police department in their police report backing my story up, because we left the building and I took my own son to the hospital because she did not call the ambulance for my son, I got kicked off of every school property for a year because of that. Melita Walker at West Junior High School or Middle School, West Junior Middle School, Melita Walker, the principal, lied in her police report, And guess why the CPS let her get off? Is because she has a report. She has a lawsuit against the CPS system over discrimination. But let me rewind how we've been going through retaliation, hate crimes, cyberbullying, and all of this. Well, as of July of last year, though, I've been going to the police department with these same boys I'm about to tell you about that tried to kill my son in July. We ended up getting a voucher and they moved us, emergency voucher move, in 5 days because some guys came over there trying to kill my son with an AK-47. That whole time. So when we live in this apartment for a month. Now I'm on Section 8, right? When you on Section 8, before you can get a voucher and get approved, they have to allow a Section 8 approval inspector come in and inspect your shit with a license. They allowed my landlord, who's a slumlord, come in and do an inspection in my shit. So when I moved out in 30 days, my water bill was $1,000. And this lady 2 months later was evicting me, saying that she was suing me for $5,000 in damages, but she don't have no pictures, but she have receipts. I only seen your ass one time. You won't even come and fix shit. So because they allowed her to kick me off because she's suing me, they kicked me off of Section 8. Stopped paying my rent January 31st, 2021. I got an eviction notice from my new landlord February 9th, Matt Hill. February 9th, 2021, 9 days later. He lied in his paperwork, and I got all the proof you will need. He lied in his paperwork and said that I was 3 months late behind in rent, even though I showed the judge the paperwork and showed them that I had proof and I had a lawyer. He still won his case and I'm still evicted. Do you know it's a COVID going on? It's a pandemic. It's not even legal to even do that. But they did it. So all that time, from July until January, everything's cool until January. There's a motherfucking Como exposure page made on Snapchat with 900 and something people on it. I make a police report because I know it's the same boys, okay? So they got a new picture of my 16-year-old daughter, who was like 12 or 14 at the time, on this page. Then they have a Como exposure page of my son saying that he turned state evidence over on one of the homies, and that's why the homies is locked up. But that's not true. They ain't never even met before. No one's ever pulled a gun out on my son before. So when I made that police report with Officer Gilstrap, that officer told me in his office, even if it's not true, on his body cam, even if it's not true, Miss Barnes, that boy, his family, and friends are going to kill your son, and we will have the feds on it. The feds supposed to have been on this case since January, okay? So let me run it back to February. Had to make another police report and send my son, had to make another police report in February. No, in February, my phone was stolen. So I made a police report for my phone. So at the end of March, no, it was the end of January, my phone was stolen. But the end of March, a police officer called me saying that they found my phone and it was in a stolen vehicle. And now the prosecuting attorney has my phone and they have incriminating evidence against my son. First of all, I made the police report, so how do you have incriminating evidence against my son and the prosecuting attorney hasn't? That's what I want to know. And why, if my phone was stolen in January and you knew about it in January and you had my phone since January, why are you just now telling me now in March? So that was another thing. I had to call it back. I called and talked to the lieutenant. Alpers. He done called and found out who the person was and what was going on, and now all of a sudden he got amnesia. He don't even remember having a conversation with me. He don't know nothing about my phone, and now all of a sudden the police department don't have my phone. Not only that, March, my son was jumped at Level Up at Columbia Mall by 15 of those same boys I've been complaining about in July. 15 of the East Side boys, okay? So when these boys jump my son, it's my son, a little boy, and my 12-year-old daughter. At the time, she was 12. And him. And there's a grown lady with red hair and a tattoo on her face. I guess the officer, Gilstrap, must have thought she was a blood. You know, because he compared the fight to a East Side, North Side gang-related fight. But here's the thing. If I've been going to you for help and police reports and there's evidence and there's complaints against the police department, y'all, I have 5 against the police department. Every last one of them, except the last 2 that are still investigating, are all found foul play. So with that being said, it's incriminating injustice going on. Let me tell y'all, when I called and talked about my son being jumped at Level Up, I also made a police report later on after I found out that night my son went on that street, Rice Road, and an innocent bystander, a 10-year-old, was killed. I called and let the police officers know that they was trying to kill my son. They was trying to kill my son, and who was all in the car. Do you know that motherfucker said that's not good enough evidence? That no one is talking, we need more witnesses. So I ended up sending him to out of state. And he's been down there for the last 2 months. So, April 1st, my 12-year-old turned 13. In that time frame between April 1st and April 7th, I had to make another police report because the same boys was behind my van, knew what kind of van I drove, and said, we can get to your mother anyway. There's videos of them saying that they were going to kill me and my family and everything. There's videos of them saying on YouTube that they're saying that they want to kill my son. The police, Detective Jill Straps, knows that there's videos on YouTube about them wanting to kill my son, Jordan Brantley. So I made that police report. My house, there was a little girl that left my house 30 minutes before my house was shot up. Okay? My car was gone. I lived in a duplex. Now, I have my kids' bedrooms and all our bedrooms are upstairs. These boys made a video 5 minutes before they shot up my house. And they text my son at 4:30 10:30 saying, "Are you in Columbia, Missouri at 1802 Juniper Drive?" Check it up. Look it up. It's not a lie. 1802 Juniper Drive, Columbia, Missouri. He says, "No, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas." They said, "Good. Bet." And they came in and shot up at my house at 10:36 p.m. while we were all asleep. My 10-year-old son, my 13-year-old daughter, and my 16-year-old daughter, they both were in the same room. So they ended up sleeping in the same bed that night. But her best friend had just left, supposedly her best friend. And after she left my house was shot up. Not only that, she was talking to one of the gunmen at the hospital, and I told the police officers to get her phone because she was on the phone and they knew it was a .22 caliber used, one of the guns. So when I say this, and I'm saying this, is because I have my daughters. My 16-year-old daughter was grazed in her arm. And my 13-year-old daughter, if it wasn't for my 16-year-old daughter pushing her off the bed, she would have been shot and killed in her skull. But since my daughter pushed her off the bed, the bullet went through her face. She ended up swallowing the bullet. Now she has a broken jaw. She had to have reconstruction of her face. And now her jaw is wired shut for the next 4 to 6 weeks. The police department has been knowing everything. They lied about the feds being on it. The feds don't know nothing about this. They've lied about helping me. There is no resources out here for our kind of help. No one wants to take on my daughter's case. The statute of limitations don't even run out until 9/9/2030. I literally only have to go to mediation for my daughter's case. That's how far it is. But with this new case, this injustice case, I need an activist lawyer. I need a medical malpractice lawyer because, for one, I don't understand how you didn't never have security outside your door. And how a hospital, university hospital, and then Women's and Children's allowed a 13-year-old girl leave the hospital 2 days later because her Medicaid wouldn't pay for her medicine and procedures, and made me force my daughter to leave without a neck brace, with 8 oxycodone, and no ointments, no bandages, no nothing. And her jaw wasn't even wired at that time. I have a petition saved on change.org. If I can get everybody out there to sign and share my petition, I know I'll get a lawyer. I know I'll win my case. When I sit up here and think about the simple fact that we had to run states just to get to safety, and no resources is held to help us. Not gun violence, not compensation, not nothing. Not Section 8, not homeless shelters, not nothing. When I tell you it's hard on the yard for a person like me, and I'm trying to stay as strong as I can, but baby, I need an activist lawyer. Because I got something to say. And I'm not afraid to say it no more. I'm not backing down from no fight. And I'm not being silenced no more. And I want justice for my babies. For my babies, I want justice for them. Because at the end of the day, Detective Gilstrap told me when they catch the boys in 4 to 6 months after they crack their phones, because they still running the streets. When they crack their phones in 4 to 6 months and arrest somebody finally, they gonna charge them with assault first degree. I don't believe that's good enough when it's premeditation and attempted murder. And when I went to Lieutenant Alpers about it, that motherfucker told me that they don't have jurisdiction to get attempted murder or premeditation. What? So now we lying. See, motherfuckers just don't know that I keep paperwork. I keep a body trail. I keep evidence. I record some shit. People don't even know that Columbia, Missouri is fucked up unless you tell them about it. Unless you feel like you want to go through the retaliation, because baby, that's what you're going to go through. People don't even want to hear about what's going on. Don't want to share what's going on. Don't want to fight for their rights or none of that. But I'm the one to sit up here and tell you, baby, you cannot do me any kind of way. I will not be silenced no more. Baby, I done lived that long life. I done been an addict. I have a criminal background. Long as King's Highway. I've been to prison. I've lost my kids. But I fought to get them back. I went through abuse, all of that, but that don't define who I am today. And that won't stop the fight in me. So please, with everything in y'all, if y'all can just give me one chance to share and subscribe to my channel, because if I get up to 4,000 subscribers, I can literally afford to pay for my own daughter's medical bills. I can afford to pay for my activist lawyer. I can afford to put us in a place. I can afford to get the things that we need. I can afford to ask for whatever, like write my book, whatever. And I feel like I'm supposed to be an activist, not an activist lawyer, but an inspirational speaker around the world, because I got something to say to women, men, and children. And I don't hold nothing back. And I'm not about to lie about shit. If you ever want to look me up, if you ever want to question anything about me, look me up by name. Candace, Kandas, Holmes-barnes, Holmes-Barnes, Barnes. Just look me up. I don't have to lie about nothing. Reality is real, and it is what it is. I need help. I need an activist lawyer. I need somebody that's going to fight with me and not against me. I need somebody that's going to stand up for me and my children, because we deserve justice just like anybody else's. Don't look at me because of the color of my skin. Look at me because something was done incriminating to my daughter. So with that being said, please subscribe, share, go to my GoFundMe, donate whatever you can. If you could just share my GoFundMe, that's great enough. You know, please go to my change.org, sign my petition. That's going to help me win my case. I'm almost up to 3,000 people's signatures. So God bless everybody. I thank you for all the subscribers that I have so far. Please listen to my story. It's out there now. So it's out there, and it's out there. Have a good day. I love everybody. Thank you. Just share my story. Get it out there.